And we're back here once again with another episode of the Cloud9 podcast, season 15, episode 12. So I hope you guys had a great day, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the Cloud9 podcast, we are going to be talking about the LEC 2025 Spring Split Finals, and we will be also covering, my wife getting banged by Warren, as was just confirmed right now on the show. So,
No,
god damn.
no, I don't partake in that. Sorry.
He hit up my wife in the DMs, and then he just dicked her down, just completely destroyed her. And then he made me watch her as he just gave her back shots. Why did you make me watch that?
Sounds like it sounds like what you do with when you with the diddler, not with me.
Diddler. Also, for those of you guys who look forward to me and Mr. Blanks when we have our episode of the Cloud9 podcast, Mr. Blanks is actually gone for the week, actually. Yeah, he's going to be gone essentially Thursday through Sunday. So the episodes that we would do on Thursday, which is the main day for this show, and then we settled on doing Saturday if we also have time as well. Yeah, he's going to be gone for this week. So me and Chaz will be back doing our Cloud9 podcast next week. So this is going to be the only episode of the Cloud9 podcast you get for this week. And that's fine. Back in the day, we used to only do one episode anyway. We used to cover just fucking everything. And that was crazy back in the day. But it's okay. I have a black man next to me, or should I say a white black man? Because you're not really black per se. You're more like a white black guy, honestly.
Oh my God! Can we stop? Stop! What cocaine are you on tonight, man?
Man, dude, I get called a white black guy all the time, and I had a tweet that hit a little viral when I called an Asian lady. I'll think dude. Apparently, I'm labeled as a racist because I told an Asian lady that she can't read because her eyes are small as fuck. Apparently, that's racist. Apparently.
Okay, I do not condone anything he says.
I'm just saying.
Just
Hey,
saying,
man,
Joe, I don't
it's better than
condone
what I
what the
would
man
have said.
says.
I originally was going to say, "Hey, Jackie Chan called. He wants his eyesight back." That's what I was originally going to say.
Oh my God!
But
Oh my
I
God.
actually have self-control. Warren, I actually held myself back after I roasted that fucking chow mein Panda Express worker. Good Lord. I
Okay.
hate chow mein eaters. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God! Wow. Okay.
But what's going on, man? How are you doing? How was your week so far?
I'm good. I'm excited for Ironheart. If you can't hear the
Said
excitement,
no one ever. Said literally no one ever.
you can hear the excitement coming through my body
Don't
right
worry, man. She's gonna be iconic.
now. Yeah. I mean, hey, she doesn't look bad. At least she doesn't look like a hoodlum. That's good. That's good enough for me.
That's debatable. That's really debatable, honestly. She looks like every Shaniqua I see at a Walmart, honestly.
No, I've seen enough Shaniquas to tell you she
You're
completes her
looking a little
sentences.
sad, man. Why are you sounding sad, dude? What happened?
I'm not sounding sad. I'm actually playing my Marvel Contest of Champions while I talk to you.
Oh my god. All right. Oh yeah. So playing another game is more important than talking to me. All right. Okay. All right. It's basically like when a girl's sitting there taking dick in her ass as she's talking to her boyfriend. It's okay. Yeah,
Do you,
honey. I'll be back.
do you
Yes,
know
I'll
that's
call you back
bad for
later.
you? Do you know how bad that is for your body? Do you know how bad that is for your body, by the
For a
way?
girl to take it in the ass.
Anyone, you'll end up having bad bowel moves. You like, you'll eat food and then all of a sudden you're just walking up your stairs and just come down your pants because the constant thrust against it is not normal. By the way,
Oh
just for
god.
anyone who wants some like biology being taught to you here. So
But it's crazy. That's why we make sure we extra lubricate that hole.
well, that's why you don't do that demon stuff.
Oh god. But yeah, speaking of the MCU, before we get into the actual games and what happened,
Right?
you know, the MCU is gonna have the Fantastic Four First Steps come out. It's gonna be the first movie of Phase 6. I haven't had a chance to talk to you about that one because I think
Yeah.
we
Okay.
hadn't talked when that got announced. Actually, are you excited for that one? Or are you a little like I don't know?
No, I'm excited. I think it's, I don't think Marvel didn't do a bad job this year. I just think that people need to realize that we're in a new age of movies. Like, I think first steps. So I don't know if you've noticed the theme this year, and I don't want to go too much, but the whole
No, it's
theme
fine.
this year,
That's time.
the, the whole theme this year with the Marvel movies is that the villains can't punch their way to a victory. They either gonna have to lose or figure out
Yes.
a easier, a diplomatic way.
Hmm.
So like we saw with like Brave New World, he even if Sam got the serum, he's still not beating him. Like he still wouldn't like Captain Steve Rogers would have not beaten him. Let's
Yeah.
just I've
Going
explained.
in, you knew
Yeah,
he was gonna have to talk him out of being the Hulk. Like, how else would he beat him? I was
right.
surprised that. I mean, he left with a broken arm. I was surprised he just had that. That's shows you how
Well, that
durable that suit is.
yeah, the suit and the shield was able to stand it. So, and I said to people, I was like, I did a comparison. I'm like, you guys are complaining about Sam Wilson, but Steve Rogers in Civil War, he beat up regular people in an elevator. I would hope a guy with a super soldier serum could beat up people in 8 people in an elevator by himself that can literally lift up a car. And there's like, oh, that's not. I was like, okay, whatever. But anyway, point being is
You
point
made it sound like they were convulsing as they replied to
like,
you.
because they can that was not like a gotcha moment. It was like if you look at the entire movie, the only one that challenged Steve in Civil War was the Winter Soldier. Every regular goon just got thrown against the wall.
Well, yeah,
Let's
that
let's
makes sense. Like he's definitely way more
just
powerful than the average person.
so I was like, so the whole point, and then so Sam talks down Red Hulk. Thunderbolts. We knew going in that they could not beat him. Like, so yeah, there's no way you're beating the Sentry. Literally in the comics, he ripped Ares in half. Like
In the comic
legitimately,
books, he was fighting World War Hulk. What's that? World
by
Breaker Hulk.
World Breaker Hulk by
Yeah,
him. They
I
had to
mean, people
call
don't
him.
understand. World War Hulk is OP as fuck. The fact that
Yeah,
someone like him could even fight him to a stalemate, it's insane.
right. He was the only one. So it's not like it's like they ain't calling it, and then Hulk's nowhere near to be found. So I now to get to the Fantastic Four, they're not beating Galactus. They're gonna lose. Like if you look at the trailers, right? They says we will find a way to protect you. He's like, I don't know if I can save you. None of it's like when someone keeps saying something, that means the opposite's going to happen. So they're going to lose. So this whole theme is like the villains, the heroes are supposed to lose. They're supposed to figure out a way, an alternate way, or like show that they're not invincible. And I'm excited because let's be honest, like the only good Fantastic Four movie that came out was what back in 2002
No,
when it
Fantastic
came out.
Four, the
The
very first, the
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 ve-
Fox X-Men one, that was like
the
2005, 2004, or something like that, right?
yeah 2004
And you had
2005.
Rise of Silver Surfer, and then you had
That was
Four
hor
Chick.
that was horrible.
Rise of Silver Surfer is bad. It was crazy, dude. I think even that first one is. I don't think they've ever really had a good movie. To be honest with you,
The
they've never
first one
really had one.
the
It was.
first one was
It's
good.
cheesy. It's a little. It's not as bad as the other ones, but it's one of those where you still see the problems with it, but you're like fine with it until I think the sequel is just. Ugh,
Yeah, the
God, that
sequel
sequel.
will ruin it. If they kind of went with like how I think honestly, if Raimi had directed it, they would have had it would have been a
Oh
good
yeah. Hmm.
would have been good. But I think Fantastic Four is going to be good. I just think people need to get going with the expectation that they're going to lose. They're going to lose. They're not going to win.
Yeah, people
And
think Century Strong Galactus is like top 10 most powerful Marvel villain ever made in
yeah, so
existence. It's
I
pretty
mean,
powerful. Yeah.
I'm excited. I don't. The only thing I'm a little disappointed with Marvel Disney, even though I may know some things, is that I think the movies got should have made a little bit more. I'm not saying a billion, but I think these movies should have made at least 500 ish. I don't know what's preventing people from going to the theaters.
Brand damage. People. I mean, I'm not saying for me. I've only seen like I've seen mostly everything in the new phases except for like a few movies here
I
and
haven't
there.
seen the Marvels or Thor
I
Ragnarok.
didn't see the Marvels or Black
Love and
Panther
Thunder.
2.
Love
I
and
saw Love and
Thunder.
Thunder. That is bad.
I did not
It's
watch
really
that.
bad.
I did not watch Love and Thunder. Nope.
That like they put out, in my opinion, they put out so many subpar, not good movies that's eventually gonna have its effect on people. Eventually will happens. And keep in mind, this is not just for Marvel. Like, you could use it for DC. I know back in the day on the older show that was retconned in YouTube. Wink, wink.
Right.
Warren used to bring up the fact that, well, the reason what you brought up, I remember you did, and I understood what you were saying, but people disagree with you. They were, sucking off DC's cock. They're being DC throat goats. Like, you had pointed out specifically that the reason why the next movie after the first one would do bad was because the first one isn't even that good. People are kind of checking it out because, oh, it's kind of like the newest thing. But
Right.
then if people don't actually like the movie up front, you'll see it in the sequel's performance if they actually like the first movie. Case in point, you said you didn't go see the Marvels. Neither did I, because we didn't like the first Captain Marvel movie. Captain Marvel's not good to me, and
Yeah,
I knew it was good. And I knew the sequel was going to perform bad because Captain Marvel has the worst word of mouth for any MCU movie, even like outside of the newest ones that aren't considered good. Captain Marvel
yeah,
has a horrible word of mouth.
yeah. The first one,
Bad.
yeah, the first one actually, I only went to it because they kept insisting that
Yeah, that's the marketing. Yeah, I
the
remember.
mar-
Yeah,
yeah, that's the only reason that movie made a building, and that was such cheese. That's such sleazy
so luck.
marketing. Yeah,
Yeah.
so but at Marvel's the funeral, I don't call it Wakanda Forever. I call it the Wakanda funeral because that's what it was.
I know you saw
Uh,
White Panther. I know you saw that.
oh, did you? Oh, the newest headline.
Saw it. Yep, I saw it.
Oh,
Yep.
listen. But MSK, I called this before. Remember, I called this way back before when I was like, they need to stop with this because you see, the thing is, us black folks, we're okay when we
I'm
take
white.
Bart.
What do you mean?
Shut up. We're okay. We're okay when we make Barbie black, when we make the Little Mermaid black, when we make the Snow White black, and yada yada yada. But then, oh my God, Black Panther's black. You need to go to hell. Stop! Like, what are you talking about? You gotta have the same energy. If you're gonna make so and so white, you're gonna black. You gotta make like. So I laughed. I laughed when I saw. I was like, yeah, I bet you all the woke people are coming out of there busting their minds. They're like, "Whoa, my God,
Mhm.
T'Challa had a white son." And by the way, I don't know if people know this. The writer of this new series is black.
Is black. Light. Yeah, he's light skinned. He's like Rihanna's skin tone. I
Yeah.
know. Imagine that.
So
Yeah.
imagine that. So I found it funny. I wasn't. Hey, Emily.
You know
I
what I
wasn't.
said? My argument in my original show was the fact that, okay, if you're going to argue to me that race doesn't matter, okay, I don't like that argument, but that's your argument, not mine, not
Right.
yours, but that's what people's argument was. Okay,
Correct.
so could that argument apply to Static Shock, Black Panther, Blue Marvel, characters like those? They're like, no, but
Luke
it's
Cage.
intrinsic to their character that they're black. That was the argument. They have to be black. And I was trying to tell them, no, the company doesn't care. The company is the racist one. They have a problem with the race. We do not. I mean, literally, if Black Panther was originally White Panther instead of black, I wouldn't care. That's the way he's established. That's the way he should be. I'd be fine with that. The problem was that I always said, hey, if you're going to apply this one way, then it needs to be applied equally. And now Marvel officially broke that. They finally applied it equally. And then the people that were calling you like racist for not liking the other one, they're saying, so what happens now? You guys you racist? You don't like white people? You don't like white people at all? See?
Yep.
That's always the case.
That's why I find it funny now, and it's funny
Yeah.
because I brought up this argument with someone at a and my friend at a bar. I told him, I was like, I think it's silly about Ariel, and he yelled at me at the bar when he said
Yelled at you. Holy shit.
he yelled at when I said that. Oh, I said, well, why don't we make Black Panther white? He's like, you don't understand. Black Panther is represents a people. I was like, wait a minute, wait a second now. What about the redheads out there? Because Ariel's a redhead.
Yeah. I was going to bring up also the fact that when people said, no, they have to be black. I mean, it's not actually never, correct me if I'm wrong, is it ever stated they have to be black if they're in Wakanda? It's never been stated, right? They were just created that way. That was just the way he made
I
them.
mean, the way it is that the comet lands on Africa, which is
Which
primarily
predominantly black people.
is
Yeah.
black, outside of England settling in South Africa and being South African, right? But for the
Yeah.
most part, it is basically 90% African. So I get that, but you can't. It's like you said, you gotta have the same energy. So I'm laughing.
I
They
I
said
was
he's
so
supposed to be a
vindicated.
villain. They
I
said he's
was
supposed to be a villain. So
I was laughing so hard because all those people that said, no, you can't do it for Black Panther. And I was like, why? You just said race. This is where you know any logic in the argument falls apart, dude. If someone says the race doesn't matter, we'll just use it for this argument
let's
then.
put it to the
Yeah.
test.
Yeah. Then it doesn't matter then for Black Panther then. If the race doesn't matter, then that's then it doesn't matter if Black Panther is white, because you guys said race doesn't matter. But this is the actual reality of the situation. Is it does matter. It does matter. These characters kind of look the way they do because, first of all, there was an artist that created that character with a few other people. They wanted the character to look like that, and I'm fine with it. And people said, but the white characters have had too much time to be in the shine. I don't care.
Nobody
I
cares.
really don't care. I'm not race obsessed like you guys are. All of you guys that watch Dragon Ball Z love Goku. You don't go, damn, I wish Goku was black, because that's no one ever says that. No one ever. If someone did say that, I discount their opinion. Like when women say back in the day you were mansplaining things to them. No one would ever argue Naruto needs to be black, Goku needs to be black, any of that. Because guess what? The characters did what they intended to do. You like them because of their personalities, whether they're goofy, whether they're serious, whether they're smart, their fighting scenes, or whatever the reason why you like a character. The race had obviously nothing to do with it. It's like the same argument people say, but Superman doesn't have to be white. Well, do you have a problem with him being that way? No, but he could be black. But it always just leads back to race, and I just don't get it. Like, why are people just so race obsessed for something that apparently, dude, doesn't matter? I don't get it. I literally don't get it. If you're saying it doesn't matter, then you shouldn't care if it's changed,
That's
right?
what that I can't wait to talk to my friend because he's like, well, it's gonna be temporary. It's only a villain. I'm saying, okay, all right. Let my I
Even if
listen.
it is, they already broke the status quo. They don't. Marvel just proved to be virtue signaling. Marvel never cared about any of that stuff. They were just saying that stuff on Twitter for likes. They were just fishing for likes, like Gavin Newsom's doing for his state burning to the ground right now.
Yeah,
Dudes
you're
out here
saying,
fishing for likes on Twitter instead of actually fixing the whole fucking state. That's all they're
yeah,
doing.
yeah. Well done.
But what else is happening? Geez, no,
Uh,
that's it. I think that's it as far as Marvel.
Peacemaker in a few weeks.
Peacemaker is in a few weeks. I really enjoyed Peacemaker season 1.
Me
I
too.
really did. It was a very, very good show. I can't wait to watch season 2.
Yep.
Do you have before we go to the actual esports talk, did you actually are you actually interested in watching Superman? Are you gonna give it a chance?
Oh no, yeah, no, I was one of the people. Not. I remember with like Mike and Paul, where like I have no problem with Man of Steel, but that's just not my Superman. Like this the whole dark and dreary. I like Cavill, but I was not like against the guy. I think he is a terrific Superman. Nothing against him as an actor,
Mhm.
nothing portraying the character. But yeah, I'm gonna give this a chance. It looks good. I mean, the fact that the trailer is not dark was already a good sign. So that's already yeah. I'm going in with a open opinion, open
Yeah,
minded. Yeah.
I said the same thing essentially. I said, yeah, James Gunn, he did a lot of superhero stuff I like. There's no real reason to believe that he can't do this. And keep in mind, most of his stuff is ensembles, unless you discount Peacemaker. He's always did groups. So if he can do groups, but he can't do a single character, I'd be like, what the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. And if I've read a few of his interviews so far for Superman, I've read the one he did with the rap where it really did feel like he kind of understood the character, which is completely fine. I'm gonna go and see it. I hope it makes a lot of money for them because it looks like it's gonna be a pretty good movie, but you never know. This is literally DC's last chance at trying to build up a connected cinematic universe, honestly. Hopefully it
Well,
goes well.
well, my prediction for the year was that I believe Superman was gonna beat out. It's gonna be this for this year of comic book movies. It's definitely Superman. It's looking to be probably Fantastic Four, then Brave New World, now Thunderbolts in the list for the year in regards to comic book movies when
Mhm.
it's all said and done. So
All right. So let's get into talking about our newest LEC winner, Movistar Koi, or AKA MKoi, wins the LEC 2025 Spring Split. In the LEC 2025 Winter Split, Carmine Corp won. And now we have a different winner, which is their Spanish rival, which is MKoi. G2
Andre,
loses again in the finals. So I'll have us start us off here. So, do you know how like G2 lost in the finals again? And people kept saying like, well, they already made MSI. And it's like, well, yeah, but you shouldn't just normalize losing because you also made it to an international event. Like, I don't like people know I support G2. I watch G2 and LAC. That's the team that I root for. And yeah,
loser.
G2's been dominant for a very, very long time. But at this point now, I
They
don't want to
suck.
just normalize losing because we made it to an international. Why can't you just do both like they did before? I don't know why with like esports fans it always has to be like one or
Um,
the other. Because that's what Fnatic did. Fnatic basically normalized losing because well, we made like the finals and we always made it to
well,
international. Well, you're not doing
well,
that now, so you know.
well. I mean that that's the thing, right? So I don't know if well for most people they love their orgs and like for most orgs to be like successful, they have to have that presence on the international scene. So the
Yeah.
Fanatics, the G2. So to them, yes, I mean, do you want to raise the trophy? Of course. But for the most part, most of these teams want to make sure that they at least win a championship. And
Mhm.
them normalizing it is to me a way to keep their fan base because, like, let's be honest, Carmine Corp has a way bigger fan base than G2.
At this
Movistar
point
Corp
now, probably, yeah.
Movistar Koi has a way big. Even Giant X has a bigger fan base than those than Fnatic and G2. So they have to continue making like internationals. Like, I mean, even the Esports World Cup that's going to be coming right after because they're probably I think they're probably qualified for that too.
Yeah, EWC happens like literally what? Basically like 4 or 5 days after MSI
Like
ends.
two like probably 2 weeks after MSI just to
I
give them
think
a
I could be wrong, but yeah, nevertheless, yeah.
nevertheless just to give them a little bit of a break. So I get it, but I don't know. I think the thing is that G2 needs to get rid of I mean, and this I guess this can segue. G2 needs to Hansama is not the Hansama of Misfits where you when he locked in Draven or Callista, you were terrified. You're not terrified anymore, right? Just Super's better, Upset's better, Callista's better than him. Let's be honest about this, right? Even Noah can go toe to toe with
Noah's
Hansama.
fat. His fingers barely fit on the keyboard.
I think funny enough, he got fatter when he left from Korea to here. Like, ever notice that? Like, you just fatten up once you get to
So
Europe.
for me, the problem with G2, so like going back earlier into the split when it was the regular season, they were up and down, they were hot and cold. They had that roadshow week where they lost to what was it, GX, and then they lost to Fnatic. Then the next roadshow they did a little bit better. But I remember distinctively when Caps mentioned in an interview that they basically had this like giant team meeting where they kind of basically hashed out all the problems that they had with one another. And then after that, felt like they played a little bit better. They ended up securing like what, fourth on the split in the regular
I think fourth or
season.
third.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like during the split, it was very much up and down. Like Broken Blade was up and down. Skewmond, I knew he was going to pick Mundo. I said it last week. I said do not pick Mundo. Mundo is I don't think Mundo's a good pick right now. Mundo to me is just a trash champion if you're going to pick him that way. Like no CC, and he's just basically a tank that
Fucking
soaks up
wall.
damage. It's all a wall. He doesn't really offer anything. I knew he was going to pick Mundo because they believe that Mundo's a really good pick right now.
I
It
mean,
didn't work jungle when they tried it, and it didn't work
he
top lane when they
is
tried it.
okay. The reason why he is because a lot of the ADCs can't play the shred ADCs like
Yeah,
Kog'Maw, um, Tristana could shred him. Like I'm trying to think of another ADC
like
that's
the
like
ADCs in the meta, you're saying basically can't shred through him fast enough. Like Jin doesn't
no,
shred through him at
no.
all, essentially.
Jin won't even dare shred through him because of the way his his passive and his
Yeah,
fourth shot. Um, Ash ain't doing it. Caitlyn ain't by far ain't doing it. So like Zaya's probably been another one, but like man, I used to know ADCs off the top of my head. Like Kog'Maw's like definitely
can't
one.
pick Zeri right now because Zeri's just too gutted. She's
Yeah.
disgusting, honestly.
Zarek and Lucian can't do it, so that's why. But the thing is, top lane picks can beat them. Like
Yeah,
the thing that bothers me the most is that with Fearless Draft, you would think. Do you know that Mundo can't play the game against Singed? At
and
all? Like at all? Like like it's so funny. Singe beats Cassante. He beats Renekton. I'm gonna list the picks. He beats
fine.
Cassante. He
Hmm.
beats Renekton. He can go even with Jace. He beats Jax. Can go up against hey DK. He can go up against Fiora. It's like you guys have Fearless Draft now. And by the way, he has probably one of the cheapest builds. And are you gonna really keep sending your jungler up topside for proxy? Well, because I mean, like, that's the thing though. These teams need to realize that, like the Warwick pick, Warwick top's been a thing for a long time. It's just
Yeah,
that
when Broken Blade picked Warwick top, even though it looked like he was running it down with his scoreline, he was actually very impactful and drew a lot of pressure up there with the pick. And
right,
Warwick top plays very well into Mbessa because she likes to always, she's a sustained top laner. She likes to duel a
right.
lot. Warwick, sustained dueling. I just don't get the Mundo pick. I think it added nothing to values in that game. And Broken Blades had an up and up performance. Skewmon's been
He's a
nothing.
rookie,
I don't feel like if you look at Yike's performance and Skewmon's when they brought them both in, I don't think there's really anything that big of a difference there. I think they're literally just even,
but
honestly.
Yike won championships as soon as you got in.
Yeah, because I think Yike's an actual smarter player than he is. I think they're even mechanically, but I think if you look at how Yike passed versus how Skewmon passed, how they impact the game, I think Yike's just a more smarter jungler. Like
Right.
Skewmon kind of just doesn't really know what to do at all. And if the game is in a certain state that he can't impact in. And that's what a problem that Yike had a while ago on G2. He grew out of that. He knows how to impact the game relatively at the point. Now, Caps, I love Caps. I do, but he has not really played well at all this year. Like, Winter, he played okay, but this split was just not good.
But
Like,
is it caps, or is it more think of, like, I want just have this perspective and then
yeah.
answer then the KC, right? Like,
Mhm.
look at the teams that they've lost. They lost to KC and they lost to Movistar.
Mhm.
If Caps isn't working, who's like their reliable person? I mean, you could say Broken Blade, but is Broken Blade really that guy when Caps isn't popping off? Is Han Sama that guy
That
when
was
Caps
supposed to
is?
be the idea. Like, okay, if Caps
But
can't do it, I have these two to do it. That was the
But they,
idea, right?
yeah, they don't. But now you look at KC. If Callista isn't popping off, you got Vladdy. If Vladdy isn't popping off, you got Kana. Yike is the guy that facilitates and gets stuff done, and can also carry. Like he's like their
I
fourth
see what you're saying.
option.
Mhm.
Now you look at movie star Corey Mirren with his weird picks. He can change it up, but he still plays pretty decent. You
Mhm.
got Elioyo, who's always been a consistent jungler, and then Super. Okay, he's always a good so, like, it's like like there's always the one option and option two. Like, it's now just become caps only on G2. In my, like, I think Broken Blades regressed, not as bad as Hansama, but that's the issue. Like, if you
And I
look
think
at
Han Sama's issues are tied to playing with Lebrov. As you know, as people know who watch the show, I've never really thought Lebrov is that good, honestly. I think
but he's
he's
made two
flawed
finals.
so hard. He has. He's actually
He's
lost
made
every finals he's been in too.
he's
That's
but he's not a bad player. He's better than what Promise Cube.
God. I mean, to me personally, there's not that much difference between him and Targamas. I think they're like the same player, honestly. If you kind of like flip a coin, they're like the same player
I,
essentially.
I agree. I just think
Maybe Targamas is better at engaging than he is a little bit.
it's I think people need to realize,
Because
and you know,
because I know you used to main top lane, but if you play ADC, if anyone plays ADC, a lot of how your ADC performance is very much dictated off like how good your support is. I even said this going into the year. I don't think Labrov is the best pick with Han Sama. I think it was just not good. I think getting rid of Mickey, like not Mickey X, getting rid of Yike. I guess if you want to make sense out of that, sure. But getting rid of them both, because Mickey X and Han Sama worked perfectly fine together. They won the championships to prove it if people want that as an accolade or a testament of like this proves that it works. Labrov does not work with Han Sama. It's like their lane always is very much not like they're losing constantly, but it looks like they have two different ideas of how they want to play the game, and I think it shows constantly. And right now with G2, yeah, they made MSI. That's great. They haven't won a split this year yet. And going into MSI, I'll be honest here, I don't know what people's real gauge of their strength actually is. Now, you could argue, is the LEC tougher this year than it has been in the past? People have said that. Oh, it's a lot more tougher this year to win than
oh
the
yeah,
years that G2 did it. I mean, you could make the argument in case, yeah, I would say, yeah, since two new teams have came in and they've won, I would say, yeah, it's like been a lot different now because, you could argue like, 2023, people said Humanoid was the second best mid laner. We're like, he's definitely not. No, he's not. But people are like, well, who else you got? And we're like, yeah, I guess you're right. He's like, players were getting like ranked high just by default. And right now, you're thinking if G2, I mean, going off what's going to happen potentially, they might lose Summer Split. But if they make Worlds, you would probably see that as some sort of way to like, I don't know, salvage your year. But I don't know how fond is G2 of losing like domestically to the point where it's like, okay, are we going to be the new Fnatic? That's never going to, that's a stretch. But, you don't want to always cope and be like, okay, we lost right here, but it's fine because we have this. But it's like, do we really believe G2's going to win an international tournament again? I mean, they won him aside a long time ago, but that was a way different roster.
That's 6 years ago now.
Yeah.
The thing is, right? I think G2 is becoming the C9 when C9 was only like known for being the international like giant at tournaments. If kind of the roles have reversed.
I
So
thought it was Fnatic, honestly, because Fnatic has that, what, a 7-year title drought? So it's Cloud9 was at
that's
like
pretty
6.
bad.
Holy shit. 7 years, Fnatic. Not winning a single title. Holy fuck.
No caps, no titles. That's basically
No,
it.
no caps, no title.
No, since he left the team, they have not won a title. They've
That's
been
true.
to finals, but they haven't
Yeah.
won a title.
You know what's crazy? Hylissang was on that team too, and even Hylissang won back in 2023 LEC Spring without Fnatic. Isn't that crazy to think about at this point?
Yeah. I think Hillsang is probably will go down as the greatest support in LEC.
Yeah. People will probably only
He
remember his
he
end
won
of
on
his years. He was
two different
really
teams.
good. Yeah, if people weren't watching back in the day when he was he was very good. He was up there, in my opinion, with like Mickey X, and I had Smoothie in there. I think Smoothie was very, very talented when he was good.
Never won a
Man, to
championship,
see his fall off, whoo, that was because Hylissang's cope now, dude, was people had said, well, he could have some good games. People's arguments basically were he just only has bad games. He just needs to be benched. That was bad.
He just ints. He's a dirty inter.
Someone said, but he would have good games every once in a while. No, he had good games in a very, very long time. He had that MVP split back on Fnatic. The last MVP split he really had was the LEC 2022 spring split. I thought he could be MVP, honestly. After that split specifically, I was like, this man's cooked. Brain's fried.
So then, what do you think caused G2 to lose this series then?
I think they're just gapped, honestly. If you're talking about the Movistar Koi one, because I think they were just gapped, honestly. I think you said earlier, Merwin played that much better than Broken Blade. Caps getting gapped. It's crazy. Caps gapped Jojo before, but then just got gapped by him before. Now? It's crazy. Supa, like you said, Supa and Alvaro really stepped up against Labrov and Hansama. But keep in mind, I think Alvaro is a better player than Labrov, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Who was jungler? El Yoya pretty much gapped Skewmond.
Yes, that's a veteran against a rookie. That's
probably realistic, honestly. It's just they just lost so hard in the series. And keep in mind, like, Jojo started picking Kassadin. They had no real counter to that. Like, I remember that play that happened, I think, in game 1, where Caps tried doing that Talia wall to try and seismic shove Caps back, and then Jojo ended up like Ari charming him out of it, so he never got the seismic shove off. I was like, what happened? Jojo went from like you said earlier, running it down, filthy fucking enter, to, okay, I used to call that motherfucker Clarence from 8 Mile because he was choking hard. He was fucking dick. But now he played good. Joseph Brown really, really popped off.
I think this is nice to see. Like, I don't have anything against JoJo. I think he's pretty good. It's clearly a talented player because he now has won LEC and LCS. So you can't really. Not even Caps has done that yet, right? He hasn't.
Yeah, Caps had not won the dreaded NA.
Eventually, Caps will come to NA. I have a feeling.
Securing the bag that's not here. Hell yeah.
But I think what it is that they're not. I think I don't know whether or not. I mean, G2 staff has changed too. That plays a factor because Duffman's not there. I think
they just have Roman and Dylan Falco. I think so.
And I think Dylan Falco might need. I think maybe instead of changing out players, maybe change out Dylan Falco because you've had him for so long. What, going on 5 years now?
Yeah, they've had him for quite a bit of time at this point. Yeah, they've had him ever since 2023. Then you have all the regular seasons, all the no, that 2022. You're right. Yeah, they had him in 2022 after they got rid of they had Grabs in 2021. So they've had him since 2022, and he's been there with all the championships, playoffs, regular season,
3
internationals.
years, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about at this point now. And he
Now,
came and he did the job. It's not like he's ever. I would never really call him the issue. It's just more like, what are their priorities in game? With this G2 roster, it really just does feel like they're fine with catching a team throwing rather than actually pushing the pace of the game, which I don't know how they're going to apply that internationally because Asian teams, as we know, historically throughout the past, they don't really like giving up early game to play for catching throws late game. They mostly fist you in the early game and destroy you. So
yeah,
G2 style right now of just kind of waiting to catch a throw, that's not going to work. I mean, LCK, LPL looks a little weak right now, but send any of them there. I mean, is G2 really going to beat anyone's legend? Is Tarzan against Skumon? Pray for Skumon. That man about to get his booty hole open.
you love the anus, right? I was actually
That was Diddy, dude.
okay. Well, I was looking at spring, and here's your top six, right? You got
Yes.
Carmine Court, Fnatic, Movistar, G2, Giant X, Team Heretics. Now, before we would be saying Rogue. Rogue was in that talk when the top four, right? Not there
Mhm.
anymore. BDS was in that talk, not there anymore. So I think what we're seeing is that the teams that were like dominated for like the last 2 years, like BDS, I think you would say even Rogue, they've just taken a back seat because like these newer teams are just, I guess, more hungry in a sense, and the rookies have more to prove and want to solidify their career. And also now you're noticing also it started with kind of, I think it started with Evie and Photon. They're not just taking players and JoJo's in a sense. They're not saying, oh, we'll just take some guy from EU Masters. No, they're like, oh, we'll take Korean ADCs like Rahel and the other
Luan.
guy, Luan, and we'll take top laners from Korea, Kana, and then we'll take a NA mid laner. So
And you do have to give credit to MCoy because they had fresh ass last year, and they were like, this guy just isn't gonna work.
Frescawi,
And they swapped
wow.
him out for Jojo Pion. And Jojo Pion initially, people were like, "Yeah, this is gonna make their team stronger," but he didn't. It didn't pay off. It didn't pay off in winter. But I guess they were like, "Hey, let's just play it for the long haul." And I remember Supa in the interview after they won, he was like, "Hey, we had completely changed the way we had thought about and played the game." And it showed in their series against Carmine Corp, and it showed in their series against G2. They definitely improved a lot. I was like, wow, the glow up here is interesting because their team had always showed that they could play the early game, but they would always kind of falter later in the game if they didn't actually have a lead. But it looked like in these games, they finally figured out between these last best of fives that they played, hey, if we're ahead, let's actually push the pace of the game and not give up any inches of the game. Oh, that play there where he didn't get the double hop. Oof, God, yikes. Good God. This play right here, the highlight play from JoJo was having that charm off the Talia. That was amazing. I like that.
Yeah,
This is the only game he really played bad for JoJo. This game was the Galio game. This game he played pretty bad. El Yoya's only game he played bad was the Poppy one. That Poppy game, he was running it. I was like, okay, this man's not playing Poppy anymore.
but
Probably not very good out of him.
also I thought about something that we didn't think. Do you think Fearless is affecting a lot of these teams more than we think?
Oh yeah, yeah. You know how people have always said with the older way of drafting, like teams could kind of like skate by, coasting off of having their players only play like a few champions over and over again. Fearless even shows the better players struggling with multiple different champions to play. Like El Yoya on Pantheon looked like he was fisting people. El Yoya on Poppy looked like he was sprinting it. So I think Fearless has helped like expose certain weaknesses in a lot of players, though. Like some players really are not that good at playing all these different matchups actually, because if people don't remember back in the older draft system, you could basically draft like Varus or Alistar every single
It'd
game.
be it'd
Now
be
what?
a hand,
Yeah.
it'd be a handshake. It's like when
Mm-hmm.
it's be like, for instance, you'd be like, okay, you're gonna take Asante, then I'll take Renekton, and we'll see who's the better
And then
top
like
laner,
swap them back. Yeah.
and then
Hey,
swap them
this game
back.
I'll play Renekton. You play Asante.
But
I
then
think
we
the worst
finally,
of it everyone saw was the Corky Tristana.
Azir,
Oh my god.
Corky Tristana, Corky Azir. So
Yeah, yeah.
I think Fearless is also affecting these teams because like, you know, maybe Broken Blade is better on like the orange and all these other champs, but then as you go with as your champion pool keeps going further, because remember after you get if the game becomes a best of five, after your third game, like most players typically outside of a rare few, I would say most players have a five like play five shared champions.
Yeah. Because this is why, I mean, back in the older draft system, if people don't remember, this is why when certain players had various picks they would kind of pull off, they would get looked at as kind of, oh, this guy actually can play like more than one champion. Like Nuke Duck was one of those who had a champion
Faker,
Ocean. Faker. Yeah, Merwin is a player you guys watch now on top lane where it's like, you're like, well, he plays all those
Whippo.
different champions. Whippo, he's that guy would play John atop if it meant he'd win. Not kidding.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think now with Fearless, which to me it's kind of mind-boggling that what it's been what 13 seasons,
Yeah.
um, or so, and they finally said, well, instead of like nerfing and buffing champions, they said, okay, well, you can only play these champions. Hey, Walter, you can only play these champions one time, and I think that's what we're seeing. Now imagine if Fearless was like I don't know 4 or 5 years ago, we would have even more exciting games. I think the game would have been people would have gotten used to it. So I
Oh
think
yeah,
it's
I
affecting.
understand your point. What you're saying
Yeah,
essentially is like bringing in Fearless Draft has essentially lessened the staleness of the other draft format.
oh
Because the
yeah,
other draft format, I understand from a casual point of view if you only see handshakes every single draft. I
yeah.
I, I understand it. You know?
It was handshakes, and it was like, well, I mean, back in the day, right? And I'm not trying to bring back nostalgia, but we used to see echoes. Like, we used to see Echo being played in the mid lane. We would see, I don't know, like I said, you would see like even Maokai top, which you don't see, but
Yeah,
now we basically it's either Ornn, Kasai, and Scion, right? Maybe Malphite if you're just that bored and you just don't want to have a brain.
yeah.
But like the I think Fearless is affecting these teams, and I wouldn't be surprised that like they have to really up their champion pools. And it changed how you draft as a coach, because now instead of worrying about, say, let's just say the pool of
3 to 4
champions
champions for each role. Now you have to worry about how it changes every single round. That's also
every
depending on if you go to
e- e-
5 games.
and every single role now, right? Because like,
Mhm.
okay, if they take the Rakan, right, and now we would say what Rakan, Braum, trying to think of another one,
Nautilus.
Nautilus, Leona. Then after
Yeah.
that, you're looking at what Lulu,
Yeah, and
Carrick.
that's when you start getting to the problem, like for MCoy this game, because I saw this from FlyQuest 2 in the LTA when they played against Cloud9 this past weekend. I am not a huge fan of Nidalee top, specifically because I feel like that kind of league mindset hasn't been here in a very long time. When someone says, "Oh, if
That's
I pick this
Stanley.
champion," yeah, so like when people say the arguments for Nidalee, it works like way back in the day, like league arguments be if I get this champion and I smash you in 20 minutes, I win the game. But like the way that league has functioned for like the last 6, 7 seasons hasn't been like that. So like
That
Nidalee is going to fall off completely when there's a team like theirs that
well,
has just a bunch of CCs. She couldn't do anything in this game when it got to a
okay,
point where she was getting CC'd.
okay. Think about it this way, right? They've probably practiced this, let's just say 10 times, and out of those 10 times, seven of them worked. So they were so
Maybe.
you got so in scrims.
Yeah.
So you have to remember that they've tested this in scrims, and they would only bring it out due to the success rate. Again, me personally, there's like other champions like you could play. Like I like for instance, me, if there was a Scion, you could easily play, I don't know. Like I said, Singed
You
is
always said
a
play Jax. It was always
Singed,
Warren's Jax. I remember that.
Jax. Yeah, like I think you have to start looking with the pool. Like for instance, Set would have been great here. You want to know why? Because
You're right. Mhm.
Set says, all right, you're a tank. We got to get front to back. But guess what? Bring you to the back line with me. with his ultimate. And oh, if you guys decide to target me and everybody else is CC, like we have other CC on the team, so I'll just take all that damage and hit you with one big W, and all of a sudden everybody's dead. So
Yeah.
like, people like they have to really adjust. So I think it's a combination of fearless. I think it's a combination that G2 has regressed. I mean, me and you have been talking about this for almost 2 years straight, where we said that they've regressed.
Yeah, like the only game in this series that you guys saw that they won was this one where they got draft gap. Like this draft is just objectively better than all this. Like keep in mind, I don't know why people are picking Zeri. Zeri, there has to be something better than Zeri. Zeri, guys, has gotten gutted into the literal ground. She is not a champion, essentially. She does very low damage. To get to that point where she spikes like these pro players are talking about, you would have to have a game go like at least 40 minutes minimum for her to really
Yeah,
pop off like
but the
that.
problem is that I don't know if Alvaro is super is a Lucian player, because Lucian Braum, Lucian
Yeah.
Lucian Yumi is still good if you have
Yeah,
like
I agree.
Yumi's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So like, I don't
The,
know,
like the
like,
only game they won in the series was the one where MCoy basically draft gapped themselves, or maybe they were just trying to ego style on them. I don't know, but it only happened like this. I'll give this draft was way better than this one. That's why they won. But that's not because like MCoy. There's even moments in this game where MCoy could have maybe had an angle to win the game, which is crazy to think about. And again, that they got draft gapped that hard. But then you have the dreaded game 4. This was game 4 where it was the Mundo. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I literally do not get it.
well, here again, I'm
Or even
explaining.
Hansama. You said Hansama, right? So
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. Look at the draft. They actually have good CC. They have
mhm.
they have Starner, and they have Thresh Hook. So it's not like and they have Thresh's box, and they have traps to in case you wanna with so that you'd have to go run over the traps to get to Jinx. You have to worry about Oriana's so they actually have good setup for the Mundo. I just think they don't he doesn't they I just think that the problem is that they just didn't play well. Like, and also Cassante can remember Cassante does percentage damage now when he fights
yeah, I
Mundo.
think people dumped. I think teams dumped Cassante too early. Like I've seen
Oh,
some
he's still
teams
good.
play him. He's completely fine. It's
He's still
I
good.
think pro players do this a lot because you used to play Yu-Gi-Oh too. You know when something got like limited or semi-limited, people would instantly so hard overreact when it was like this is
Yeah.
completely fine. Like Cassante is completely fine. I'll if someone hand shook me and said I get Mundo or you get Mundo and I get Cassante, I'm fine with that. Sure, take that trade every day. We'll
Yeah,
handshake that.
yeah, because Cassante, because the thing is, even though you're gonna get this big powerful Mundo, what's he gonna do? Throw a briefcase at you to slow you down? Like, he's not gonna really do much.
And
So
that was my argument with the whole Mundo thing. Is like he doesn't really offer anything. Cassante offers what you said, but even better. Everything
yeah,
Mundo
backline
offers.
access, decent
Yeah,
scaling,
yeah.
does
Uh,
damage.
he engages his three auto knockup engages. Like Mundo has no engage. Mundo just pokes with his cleaver, and it's just a tank. Like debatably, like you just said earlier, you could just play Orin for that. But Orin's better, right? Orin's better.
Yeah, Owen's
Warwick's
better.
better for that. Warwick can actually evade dives if you go up there and dive him. You could, I won't say pick a Lowy. That's a little crazy, but
Well,
you know,
we were talking about ADCs. So the thing is, like, here's the problem, right? And I'm gonna name some to you. Like, I don't LEC players, I don't think that there's many good Twitch players. There's not many players that can play COG because Twitch and Kog'Maw, which like doesn't matter if Mundo got to the late game. Twitch, Kog'Maw, they would shred him. Aphelios, how many Aphelios players we know? Aphelios is still a good champion. Senna would outrange and scale and would shred that Mundo. But again, how many LEC players do you know off the top of your head that can play Senna, um, who did I just say? Senna,
Philios. Yeah.
Aphelios, Twitch, and Kog'Maw.
Yeah, because in the FlyQuest C9 series, in the game 3 that FlyQuest lost when they played Kog'Maw and you got a triple kill like early on, it shows that Kog'Maw is still very strong.
He's
But in
strong.
that game, the reason why they didn't win was because they were getting outplayed. But it was the fact that they didn't actually play for the Kog'Maw. Like we saw in the MCoy versus Carmen Corp series, Supa, when he played Jinx in game 5, he got a lot of things dedicated to him. They gave him like all the resources. They kind of put all the eggs in the Supa basket. This game, when you see it, when Han Sama had Jinx, they didn't play for Han Sama at all. They didn't give him any resources. They just kind of were like, okay, you get a few silence here and there. If you actually know how Jinx functions, that's not how Jinx functions. If you're trying to have all the eggs in the Jinx basket,
You need
you
to give
need
a
dives
reset.
going on. You need some resets. You need the whole team playing for that Jinx. MCoy's worked when he played Jinx against Carmen Corpus because they all played for him. They're like, okay, this is our win condition. G2 with the Jinx draft here did not play like Caps was going to, or sorry, Han Sama was going to be the win condition. Also, Caps was getting absolutely just dominated by Jojo in this game. The Kassadin was, good Lord.
Also,
Good God.
um, the reason, and also their draft had a big of a hole too because the way you beat Kassadin is you have a scaling mid laner. So if he had played, say,
Mhm.
Yasuo, Yasuo would beat
Did they
Kassadin.
ban Yone? I think I could be wrong. Let me go back and look.
Yone,
Because
Yone,
Yone does
Yone,
very well to Kassadin.
yeah, Yone would be fine here. So I don't know if it's a champion. I don't see Yone from what I can
G2
just.
banned Yone themselves.
Yeah,
Was
yeah. So
there.
they're not confident in playing it then.
Or yeah, because right here with the draft, so yeah, this makes sense to take out Rumble, Akali, Aurelion Sol. Aurelion Sol, humanoid literally only looks like a human, pun intended, on Aurelion Sol. Aurelion
Now,
Sol's
now
disgusting.
the only other thing that they could play mid lane is they
I
if
said Vex. Do you think Vex would have worked?
no Vayne.
Did they ban Vayne here? I don't think they did.
No,
No? Yeah.
no Vayne would have been a little bit short range, but you still have Jinx, so you would have had double 80 carry. But the thing is that Vayne does true damage, so it doesn't really matter, right? She's just gonna
Mm.
shred. She's just gonna shred, and then like who's
But they're
gonna
probably
like
thinking if they play Vayne, it's gonna do so bad in lane against Ezreal and Leona. And like you said before, Twitch would be perfectly
no
fine against that.
like no Vayne into Kassadin.
Oh, you're not just playing Vayne mid into Kassadin.
Yeah, yeah, Vayne mid into
That could work,
Kassadin.
yeah. What happened
Or
to Aurora? Did they play Aurora this game? They didn't play Aurora at all this series, did they? No.
no, they didn't play Aurora, which
They
is a
didn't play
very
Way. Way could have worked a little bit more better. Like you said, the drafting was just very
yeah.
not good in the
I
series at
think
all.
I think also Graves would have been great here. If you have Graves mid actually can um do a lot of work, and you could flex Graves either mid, top, or
Yeah.
jungle if you really, and then have like you could still have Graves top or Graves into say in the jungle, but
Oh,
again,
like when you said that Cassante was a better shield than Mundo. If you guys remember this game, by the time Merwin got to about 30 minutes in the game, they couldn't kill this guy. They essentially kind of not didn't even fight them really. Like Cassante was so much more effective than Mundo, and
yeah,
Mundo is just a tank. That's all Mundo is.
yeah, look at what Mundo's doing. He's like yeah, he's
Oh,
a
look at
true.
that great tank G2 has. Oh no, we just lost the title. Oh damn it. God dang it, another one gone. I will never understand their Mundo obsession. I literally don't get it. I fuck me. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm
My
actually insane.
My thing is if they're gonna play Mundo, and that's the thing, like this is why I don't understand, like even if you play Yorick would beat the crap out of Mundo, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And LPL use Mundo, and I'm like, why is it that these pros are so like rigid in their drafting? Like, if okay, yeah, people play it in gold, like iron to gold,
Yeah.
but the one trick still play them. So like Alawi would have destroyed the Mundo a lot. By the way, Alawi destroys Cassante too. Didn't know.
Alawi's pretty, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like G2 picking Mundo is like why? Like it would have to be maybe they had some good results in scrims to justify it, but it's never worked out on stage. Every single time I've seen them play Mundo, they've lost with it. I've not ever
Did
seen them
they
actually
ban
win
Orn?
with it. Mord, let me go see. I don't
Did, did,
think they
did
did. Let
they
me check.
did they ban Orn?
Orn. Was Orn banned here? No, no. Orn's up.
Yeah, I think
Orn's open.
Orn would have been so much better. It gives them even more scaling.
Yeah, because if they're gonna go in for like if they want hard engage scaling, Orn's better. And keep in mind, Mad Lions had already picked Braum in game 3, the one that they lost. So you didn't have the whole Braum counters Orange to the second cast of his ult. No
Right.
one here could stop the second cast of the ult unless Cassante jumps in and knocks him over. So I don't get Jinx here. I don't think Jinx only works as a late game insurance policy if the team all plays towards her. They didn't do that. They kind of went like, oh, every man for themselves. And I'm pretty sure you guys saw Scumon's not a Skarner player, which is crazy. He can't play Skarner. That's pretty that's a red flag right there.
Well, then
He looked pretty
put
bad.
why didn't they put him on Sejuani then?
I was saying the same thing. I asked the same thing. I was like, this guy is kind of not playing good on Skarner. He didn't really play. He played fine on Wukong, but Wukong's easy. I mean, I can pop off on Wukong. His
Stop it.
Trundle game was he was losing on Trundle. And keep in mind, I don't this game right here, Pantheon and the Trundle's like God. Pantheon's gonna they're probably even early game if we're thinking about it, but
Trundle
Pantheon is gonna win
outscales.
those. Yeah, Trundle outscales, but they didn't get to that point where they could outscale. They're hoping like MCoy is gonna do what Fnatic did and just fucking start throwing, you know? So yep, Movistar Koi wins the LEC 2025 spring split. And
So what do you think now in regards to like? Well, to me, I don't think this championship. I don't think LEC championships matters after the changes they made. To be quite honest with you, the only championships I care for is MSI and the championship they win for Worlds because the winter one. I guess first stand is a if they're keeping first stand. Okay,
I guess
cool.
yeah.
Since they're gonna keep first stand and now
Mhm.
esports World Cups is okay, but like to me, it just kind of like these are just like watered down championships now.
Well, that's the thing is, you know, I hope teams don't get tunnel visioned into thinking that they're going to win internationals or make deep runs and then
Oh
just
no,
accept themselves losing and being like, okay, well, we're going to handshake this, but we're going to be at this point. And it's like, but yeah, you are going to be at an international, but the chances of some of these Western teams winning an international event is like, unless some of these Asian teams get food poisoning, as we've seen, which never happens, these guys are getting clapped. Because,
do you,
like, you know, what
do, do,
happened?
do you think how do you think they're gonna who do you think's gonna fare better at international G2 or MCoy?
Oh shit. Do you think there's a possibility that both of them don't fare well out?
Oh
Honestly,
yeah.
because I think MCoy, despite playing well right now in the LEC, we've seen them at their absolute lowest. Guys, this team had a game. I remember in the winter split where they played Jinx. Remember that one? And they were so far ahead against Koi. It's practically like you would have to literally throw for this lead to be over, and they did because their original thing was like we have strong early games, but we can't close. If they ever get into a point again where they have strong early games at the international event they're going to, which is MSI 2025, and they have good games or good early games against some teams, and they start throwing, I think their mental is going to be a little bit fucked up. You know, that's what I think. If that's going to be a problem that they're going to have, because if they're playing like this, I could see them upsetting a few teams here and there. But keep in mind, LEC hasn't beaten even NA in quite some time. The last time LEC beat NA was when Fnatic beat Cloud9 in that best of 3 at Worlds 2023. It's been like outside of that, it's been a hot minute since LEC's even beaten North America, which is like, how are you not beating them? But keep in mind, they sent Fnatic, which is, has Huma shit on there. Good lord.
That's your team.
What Huma shit?
You have a
Warren?
Fnatic. You have a Fnatic jersey though.
Yeah, I wear a lot of I wear a lot of jerseys. I want to look good when I go outside
So why would you wear that jersey?
because I like wearing. I have a Vitality one too.
You're an idiot. I would not wear a shitty team. Sorry.
So I'll say the esport teams jerseys look good. I'll wear them. I have the teams that I'm a fan of, but I
So
wear them just because I just
wear
wear
an
a
SK
lot of shit.
jersey then.
If they sold one, I buy it.
Yeah, buy it from the website.
I did German, German
Also,
people.
okay, I know this is early, but who do you think? Which
Yes.
team do you think could make a surprise for like a third spot? Like, okay, basically the question I'm gonna
Send
ask.
Shopify Rebellion.
No, no, no. Well, that I guess it's two questions. And A is who do you think is gonna win between
I think
Shopify?
FlyQuest is going honestly.
Well, we know FlyQuest is gonna probably whoever gets to the wins, but like for EU, like going into the next like spring summer splits, right, or whatever it is called. What team do you think is gonna level up and like maybe knock down even Fnatic to fourth or like?
Yeah, because you're going to go on Fnatic. So the thing is, right now, given how strong the top three are, we say G2, Carmine Corp, and MKOI. Fnatic would be fourth if you're going to rank them, obviously, because even G2 beat Fnatic. And if we're looking at Fnatic right now, is there a chance that any other team punches above them? The only chance that could happen is unless any of the other teams below Fnatic make a roster change that significantly impacts their roster. But if that doesn't happen, I think Fnatic is securely in fourth place. Isn't EU sending 3 teams this year? They're going to get to send
Yeah,
3.
they always send three. Yeah.
So I think, because Fnatic is talking about doing roster changes, one person argued this, and this is what they said, not me, which is, do Fnatic just run the same roster back? They go one more time with Humanoid and Razork, and they go, hey, this is our last split together. Whatever happens, happens. We're changing this roster at the end of 2025 when the offseason starts if we don't make Worlds or whatever.
Right. Fair enough.
Or do you flip a coin and you go, we're going to swap some players out into certain positions and we'll kind of hope we do better to change the kind of atmosphere on the team? Because from knowing what we know right now, the atmosphere is not great. The work ethic is not great. Like, I truly don't hope they go into the split going like, damn, hey, we had a great regular season, but we fell apart in playoffs. And it's like, yeah, you have Razork and Humanoid. They have retard offs constantly. They fuck each other right in the butt every day. Like, of course it was going to happen. But if you get a rookie, like you said, with your arguments with rookies, well, that's going to probably happen if you struggle a lot. And it's Fnatic okay struggling right now at the most important time of the year when it means qualifying for the biggest tournament in
Worlds.
League. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, that's a hard thing right there. I would say this. They need to swap out one of the players to kind of, have a new sort of like honeymoon phase initially up front and kind of ride that wave, whether it's Oscar or whether it's Humanoid. I only justify keeping Razork because, a jungler of his level can get you far, but you can't win with him. But I think it's harder to find a good jungler than it would be to hard in the LEC to find a mid or top laner, unless you're going to go with the plug and play player. I mean, GX found Lot. Like, Lot's not that bad. Lot's okay. It's
I
not
think he's
causing them.
actually. I think he's better than people think. I
Like,
think
even
he.
Vitality, they found Nako. Like, Nako's fine. He's a completely fine player. So
Yeah.
I believe you can find a fine mid laner and a fine top laner to kind of skate by for summer. No way you'll find a jungler as good as Razork right now to the point where it's going to not impact your team if he's not there. And it sucks because he's essentially like Hillisang for like junglers, which is
I.
sad. But
I
he has such a
think.
high ceiling.
I think. So my thing is, I think Heretics can make a. I don't think they would make worlds, but they can make a deep run if they clean up a few things. Or I think Giant X can make. I think Giant X could steal that third spot if if teams don't pay attention to them. They were ramping up, and I think they're getting there. They really are. So I have a feeling Giant X is up and coming because I think Jackie's is like the next gonna be like a top three mid laner soon. At least I think he is.
He struggled a lot this past split. Hopefully, he doesn't have those same struggles going into summer.
Yeah.
Maybe he. Sometimes it's always just mental too. Like, I think sometimes it's always mental. Like the way MKOI bounced back, when we saw when their mental was bad, it was like looking like, oh damn, this is rough. So like, hey, we kind of just had it all out and we just changed the way we played and it just reinvigorated them. Sometimes it could be just, hey,
Coaching staff. I mean,
he did
Shopify.
say, you're right. Elyoya said that Melzet came back, and Melzet came back apparently after having a baby with his wife or whatever, and it kind of like,
Same thing
added
for
some.
Shopify.
Yeah, they
Demonte
added Demonte. Yeah. Sometimes it could be just like you said. Sometimes it could be just mentality or
and
coach.
coach. Yeah. So like
Yeah,
people don't realize. So, I mean, I was a little bit disappointed. I thought the finals would have been at least a best of five, but I
we
mean,
got one with MKOI and Carmine Corp. We did get that. So,
yeah, yeah.
and Carmine Corp, good lord, fucking hell, I hate
I
Tardom
think they
so
got.
much.
I think they have a good squad. I think if anything,
I think they
uh,
got too lax after winning and going to first stand. I think they coasted.
no, they underestimate. I don't think they lacked. I think they underestimated MCoy. They didn't. They knew that they could be Fnatic, but they under. I think they severely underestimated MCoy.
For me, it looked like in the regular season they got a lot of wins. They were first place, but it was a lot of teams just kind of giving them a lot of angles and chances to get back in the games they were losing. I didn't feel like they were actually punished when playing those games. Like MCoy was the only team to really like actually punish their mistakes, which they probably didn't expect that because they always kind of beat them. So hopefully with the break they can kind of go, okay, we need to not make these mistakes anymore because the mistakes it really cost them the games. There were games that they were honestly winning completely fine early game wise, but they kept making mistakes here and there that threw them out. So we have just one more thing to go through before we head out of here because Warren wants to go bang my wife again. Put
No,
it all the
thank
way
you.
inside of her. Oh my god. Sources. SK Gaming have allowed top laner Jinax and mid laner Reeker to explore their options. Both players are not necessarily out of the team, but SK are talking with possible replacements. This basically means that the coach went up to him and said, "You're out." But don't say you're out. Just say we're exploring options.
You know,
Management said, "Get the fuck out."
Reeker, I think, has had a bad. I think Genox. I think Genox personally would do better in NA. I've
I
always
think
said
so
that.
too. Yeah, because like Gen X and Reeker, people don't know. Even if you throw them in the ERLs, it's proven in the ERLs that they win ERLs. So they got kicked out of the LEC, went to the ERLs, won
Came
it
back.
constantly, came back, and are now ninth and 10th, and are going to get kicked back to the ERLs. It's like, so they're better than the lower tier 2 competition, but they're worse than the tier 1 competition. Like, that
Make
sucks
it
though,
make sense.
because, no team's going to take a risk on these two right now. Not a single team, especially in summer split. If this was maybe like spring, maybe you could justify it, but not in summer. No team. Like maybe because even Navi's going to settle on keeping Larson, that fucking paycheck stealer at this point.
I
So
think. I think. I think. He would be an upgrade over Fudge.
Gen yeah, I feel like that style he has would fit perfectly in the LTA or LCS or whatever. Reeker is just awful. That he shouldn't have got a spot to begin with. He's just
Eh,
bad.
Miss Sparkles.
Hi, Miss
Um,
Sparkles. You want to have sex with Warren? He's black.
I I am a gentleman. Thank you. I'm a
Yes.
gentleman.
Yeah. Back shots from Warren would be great, from what I
I, d-
heard
I, d-
allegedly.
I don't do that to women. Thank you.
Yes. Oh yeah, missionary. Oh yeah, good job, Warren. Yeah.
Yeah, for traditional. Thank you.
A traditional. What's a traditional sex position?
A doggy.
Oh my
Uh,
god. Uh Hey, MSK isn't a gentleman. That's true. I'm a top G Riz master. But the LEC Spring 2025 finals between Movistar Koi and G2 Esports peaked at 509K viewers according to Esports charts. That's a 14.24% drop compared to last year's Spring's finals, which reached 593K. So they lost about 90,
80.
80
I'm,
some K.
but that's expected because that remember last finals was Carmine Corp.
Last year's finals. No, that's last split. You know, last year's spring was G2 and Fnatic.
Yeah, that's of course it's gonna have more, but like
Yeah.
these
But
are
keep in
now.
mind, it still had 500K with it being Movie Star Koi. That's not. This is a red flag here, but it's not. It's not as bad. I would
It's
say.
not a red flag. I think the thing is, people gotta realize these are new teams that are now like before EU was what 3 teams. Now EU's like four good teams and like two middle of the pack teams that battle for like fifth and sixth, and then one team that's clearly always gonna be like seventh. Like they have now a better structure than they've had in I would say the last what 3 years.
Yeah, and this is gonna happen even at MSI. Like if T1 don't go to MSI, which is looking like they're not compared to their performance recently.
Now
Yeah,
T1's going to MSI. Trust me.
and to be fair, I don't even want to bet against them because it's KT, and KT is doing well recently, but it's KT doing well recently, so that means that they're gonna
Bro,
lose. So
it's T1.
if
T1's
T1
going.
loses to KT, I'm gonna be.
T1's
That's
not
gonna,
losing to KT, man. Is the game tonight? No, it's not
no,
tonight.
it's
No,
I think it's Saturday, right? Or it's Friday.
that
I think it's Friday.
Friday. Yeah, it's T1. Do you know this is SK? I don't know
I
why
can't
people doubt.
trust T1. Not T1. I can't trust KT. KT or oh god, I'm never trusting
How
KT.
can you go up against? How can you go up against the goat? It's Faker.
He's not played well recently. Not been playing that good. I mean,
They,
unless we're
they
hoping that he turns it on for playoffs.
he's been on a. They went on a up. It's Faker. That's all I gotta say. It's Faker.
Oh goodness gracious, Warren. I hate you sometimes. All right. One last thing. Our good old boy Larson was good at one point. Now he's just a dirty, filthy paycheck stealer. Sources: mid laner Larson accepts lower deal in order to stay at Navi. Yeah, he should. He was one of the highest paid players on Rogue. One of the worst, if not the worst team in the league. Rogue got worse results than SK. That's
They
sad. SK don't
they
even put money into their league team.
they plug and play. But you gotta remember, they plug and pull players, and that did not work for them.
Racist. How did MSK get actual talent on his show? What's up, Warren? Oh, whoa. I'm the talent. What are you guys talking about? Everyone comes
Hey,
to watch the
Gray,
show
been a
for
while,
me.
man.
Good
Been a
lord.
while. I miss. I was with him and others on Sundays, and oh well, that was a ship that sailed. But good to see you, Gray.
Yeah,
You
because you
gotta
were on
remember.
with Rosales, I think. What
Re,
happened to
re,
Rosales? Did he die?
no, no, that's awful. No, he did not die. You dirtbag. He. It just. Long story short, it didn't work out the way he planned, and he's just
People
doing
just
other. He's just do.
argued.
No, 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 not no, 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 no drama. It was just
Oh
like.
yeah. You remember the previous one everyone had to deal with. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Nothing like
yeah,
that, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No drama, nothing like that. Just I would say in regards to his comics, and I don't know the full details. It just didn't work out. So just I think he's just basically trying new stuff, and
It's fine. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
happens.
So, but yeah, for in regards to Larson at Rogue, I think they thought Patrick was gonna be decent, and they thought Adam was gonna fit in, and it didn't really work out. And I mean, listen, Larson's not a bad player. Maybe he needs this to like reset his mind because remember, Rogue was on a big high for a while. So sometimes you need to get knocked down a peg to get that drive back. So this is probably his last chance. So I don't blame him.
Yeah, I mean, I hope. I hope this is something that kicks him back into shape because he used to be a really good mid laner. I was surprised that he had dropped this far in form. I was like, holy fuck, this man's out here TPing the minions in his own lane. Bro's cracked the fuck out. Bro's bugging. Dude's out here, brain not working anymore. Then, and I mean, no one can win with Patrick. That's just already sailed. And they're keeping Adam, from what I heard too. Like keeping Adam makes sense. He was probably their best player.
I think
Maybe.
BDS should have kept Adam because it just worked with their playstyle.
Yeah, but you remember the drama that happened with Adam. It's he
What
didn't. Oh,
drama?
there was drama that happened between them in the winter split last year. That's why they brought in Gen X for that series. So I can imagine that affected how the team's mood was later in the
Yeah,
year. But
yeah,
keep in
but
mind,
he's French. I mean, dealt with French people. They're very vocal and they just speak their mind. So, uh,
but yeah, that's pretty much it for the
yeah, yeah,
LEC. For the LTA, we'll cover that stuff on next week on Thursday when I have Chaz on, and we got to go through some LPL stuff. But I will say this: I'm glad for my boy Shanks. I've always watched Shanks in the LPL, even when he was on Team WE.
I just
Finally
want
made it
BLG to make it.
international.
I don't give a fuck about. I don't give a fridge. Sorry,
A
I don't
fridge.
fridge. I don't
Why
give
are
a
you so
fridge.
PC, Warren?
I don't give a fridge.
A
I'll say certain words. I just want my team BLG to make MSI make the finals.
I would love a BLG made it too, but it's just they've looked so up and down this year, man.
They changed
Hopefully they
coaching
can pull
staffs.
it back.
They'll be fine. They'll
They
be
have
fine.
bitch one now.
Anyway, it was nice meeting everybody here.
Yeah, so they're gonna face whoever wins out of WE and IG, and the finals
Not
is
gonna
against
lie,
AL.
it would be if IG, because remember whoever makes it second. No, do they have a qualification match?
No, that's in the lower bracket round.
So
BLG's is a lower bracket final.
so whoever wins between BLG
G and
and
whoever makes it out of that, yeah.
would get the second, and so BLG whoever against the one of those two would get the second place at MSI.
Could you imagine a world IG actually beat
Hey,
World
bro,
Elite?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. If IG makes it and IG makes it to the final, it'd be nice to see Rookie at an international. It's been
It's been
almost
too long.
long,
Yeah.
way too long. So I wouldn't
Last
mind.
tournament he was at was 2019 Worlds, right?
Yeah, nice to meet
Unless
you,
you count that
by the way.
weird LAN international they had in 2020 when we were under that virus bullshit, but that doesn't really count. So like
Yeah,
if you weren't, you had yeah, man, World Elites really came up in these last few weeks actually. BLG, I mean, for me personally, given like give or take skill ceiling, I think BLG still with their roster has the highest skill ceiling. I hope they actually win it all. I would like them to be at MSI, but given their matches recently, it's been
I
up
mean,
and down.
who doesn't
You
like
know,
seeing Ben and Knight and what's his
been
face
so good. Oh my
and Elf?
god.
Yeah, so
I'm just glad World Elite knocked out Top Esports. Top, fuck. Thank God I will not have to see fucking Crisp international event again. Thank God. But yep, that's pretty much it. Anything else you want to mention before we head out?
no, I'm good. It's nice meeting everybody. I'm glad to if you LEC is my thing, so yeah, I'll be here for you guys all the time. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. He's not the avid LPL watcher anymore. He moved on to the greater greener pastures, which is the LEC. Where are my buddies at? I need Michael and WZ in here. They left me. They left me for my wife as they're gonna end up banging her out. So that's pretty much it. Just want to let you guys know this is going to be the only episode of the Cloud9 podcast this week, as Mr. Blanks, or aka Chaz, is going to be out of town between Thursday and Sunday. So we're going to resume our show obviously next week on Thursday, where we are going to cover, matches that happened in LCK, LPL, and the LTA. So if you guys are watching this show, it's always awesome to see the show, at the number of episodes that it is currently at right now. And I do want to say thank you to every single person that has watched the episodes live or on the replay throughout the years. And we're at, 15 seasons. This season is about to be over very, very soon. When it hits episode 23, that will be on season 16. And hopefully for MSI 2025, get that, given the fact that it's going to be in Canada, we'll be able to do like a watch party for some of the games during the day. That'd be
Yeah,
actually really cool.
I'd love to I'd
If I
love to
can
catch up.
coordinate it, if we can do it, that'd be great. It was so much fun watching Worlds when I was on Rumble. That was so fun. We could just say anything we wanted over there too. Because we can do the watch parties here. We just have to watch what we say. I just have to mute when the stream is playing that copyrighted music. That's really all you have to do. You,
Oh, okay. So yeah, just no sound then.
no, you can play it. You can play the actual game audio. It's just when the breaks go in, they play their music. You just have to mute
Oh,
it.
okay,
Because
gotcha,
when does
gotcha.
MSI start? Well, let me see.
I think when North America ends.
You're probably right. I really don't remember. MSI starts June 27th. Wait a minute. That's in about a week from now.
No, this. Come on, MSK, can't you count? It's today's the 11th.
No. On their website, it says June 27th, the first day.
Today's the 11th.
So that's about
That's at least 15 days. Can you not count that
roughly 2 weeks.
two
Okay.
and
Okay. My brain works like if I'm already in that week, I don't count it. But I see your point. Yeah.
oh, okay. Anyway,
Oh my God, Warren, do you just can I get some love? Damn, man.
you're a good guy.
God, but you're not gonna let me have sex with your girlfriend, right?
If no, why would I let you do that?
It's
Even
called
if I
a
had one, why?
it's
No.
called a homie pass,
No,
bro.
no. Yeah, that'd be called a whole pass because now I'm passing her along to you. What are you talking about? No,
God, are you saying that's upset? He's got a hoe pass. He's been passed
I,
around for 9 years, no
I have a
titles.
I have a feeling he's gonna divorce his wife because that's a young couple. But
I
I'm
mean,
caught.
his wife does only whores, probably spreading her butt cheeks for like three
Really?
ninety nine. Yeah, his wife does OnlyFans. Did she not? I remember she did OnlyFans. I remember. Also, fucking crazy. Unless
I'm
I'm literally on
I
crack.
I'd be disgraced if my wife did OnlyFans. What?
I I, I swear. I'll apologize if I'm wrong, but I remember she did OnlyFans. Who lol upset? Yeah, this is his name is Elias at Paula Latino waifu. Oh my god.
Okay, no, I'm good. We don't. Anyway, it was nice coming on here for the second
He had some
time.
good. I'm saying he has some good taste though. She's not ugly. So it's a
No,
pretty
no, no,
attractive girl.
no. But I don't with how young people.
Instagram. She's being an Instagram whore. What is she? Model. Model. Damn. Looking kind of
Uh,
juicy.
oh yeah, no, that ain't lasting, bro.
Upset. Can you give me a pass? Just like a day? Like, come
That
on,
ain't
bro. I've
that
watched
ain't
your whole career.
that ain't lasting, man.
If your wife's posting pictures like this,
Nah.
come on, man.
Oh no, that was 203 weeks ago, so that's a long time. But
Yeah. She hadn't posted in a while, but this one is that's pretty good. Damn. So crazy. Congrats, upset, but she probably getting banged out by black
but
guys. So if you
oh
guys ever
yeah,
take a break,
the only thing I was gonna say was yeah, if next season I'd definitely like to come on more for LEC. If you're doing LEC stuff, because
yeah,
I watch that mostly now, so
dude.
that's
I
what.
remember. I forgot the other person's name we used to have on. It was Ravioli.
Oh, really? Yeah,
I've talked to
you're right.
Ravioli in a long time. I have to go through some of my Discord contacts to see if people still watch. Like the only person that still watches from
Kafka,
when we used to. No, I haven't talked to Kofta in years. He just kind of got married and I guess he started having
life,
kids or something like that.
life, yeah, just life, man.
Hey, I'm S still came around once in a while, but that's pretty much it. So yeah, it was great having Warren back for this episode. Also, it came in nice and clutch because LEC just wrapped up. But yeah, G2 Esports and Movistar Koi are the representatives for the LEC for MSI 2025. Jojo Pion NA mid to only win EU. Crazy at this point. What's crazy is not even Korean import mids have won the LEC. Isn't that crazy to think about now?
I hope Miss Sparkles. I mean, he's JoJo has proven that before. Remember, NA mids can't compete in LEC. Well, I mean,
I guess by winning it already kind of shuts down that narrative too. But
I,
Jochipion is actually talented. If you throw in like Golden Glue in there, he's getting fucking destroyed.
Golden Goal's a coach now, so
If
whatever.
you threw like our actual bad mid laners in there, they would fold so hard. But
I
no,
don't even.
Jochipion is talented. He's a good
Yeah,
player.
yeah,
He
So
didn't work on Cloud9 because the players that he did well under was El Yoya and Inspired. Like Blabber is not going to play for Jojo Pion the same way that fucking El Yoya played for him. Like it's not happening. They just not going to be on the same wavelength as players. But yeah, thank you guys for checking out this episode of the Cloud9 podcast. We will return next week on Thursday when Chaz is back to talk about the other, playoffs happening for LTA, LCK, and LPL. And you guys stay safe out there because there's a lot of, riots going on right now due to, wanting to kick out taco people, which I agree with.
you're terrible. You eat at Chipotle. So what are you talking about? And Dos Toros.
Those are American made. I hate you. I hate you so much.
What are you
God.
talking about?
Well, thank you guys for checking out this episode of the Cloud9 podcast. If you want to go and bang my wife, joking. So sorry. Thank you guys so much for checking out this episode of